Dateline New Haven on WNHHF FM, your home for community radio. I'm Paul Bass, your host, inviting you to look behind the headlines on the stories that make our community tick. We've been talking about COVID-19 nonstop and the way it's affecting life in New Haven. We're going to take a little detour this morning. We're going to talk to three young men who probably be in school right now. I'm not going to ask them if they would be. They're supposed to be in school right now in person and wouldn't be able to be on the radio. But like everybody else, they're at school from home. And they're ninth graders in New Haven who have an excellent new-ish, not brand new band called the Midnight Strangers. And if not for COVID-19, they were on the cusp of playing their first big gig in New Haven. Is that right, guys? That Westville Walk was going to be your first big gig?
Yep.
So say good morning to Jack Marchand, Nolan Wozni, and Ben Card. They're the three people behind the Midnight Strangers, and they're ninth graders from three different schools in New Haven. They have a new album out, and as I said, they were going to debut the songs at the Westville Art Walk in May, which has been canceled. So, folks, tell me about this new album. When did it come out?
It came out on February 21st, 2020.
Mm-hmm. And what do you like? When you're in ninth grade, you have a band, and you don't get to have all like the A&R team and everything at the big record labels. How do you drop an album?
Well, it's definitely a process. So first we have to write all the songs, and then we all record them. Then we have a website where we put our music on it, and it sends our music to Spotify, Apple Music, that sort of thing. And then on Instagram, we just promote it, say, hey, we got the release, and that's that.
And how's it gone? Now is it called Speed of Light?
Yes.
And that's also the single, right?
Yep.
And so tell me what's the idea behind this album? What was some of the thinking? Now, Jack, you're the singer-songwriter, correct?
Me and Ben do most of the songwriting.
And so what was the thought behind Speed of Light?
I don't think there was really a concept. We just it took a long time, so we just kind of gathered our best songs that we had written.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
it was over 3 years. Yeah, we wrote a lot of songs over 3 years, and we chose the best ones to do. So they're varied a lot because there was a lot of time in between everything we did, and we kind of got better as musicians, and
mm-hmm.
we got better toward the end of recording.
In the earlier songs, it's weird because I was a lot younger and my voice sounded a lot higher. For example, in Speed of Light and songs like that, Snowfall, yeah.
So did your voice change at some point?
Mm-hmm. It did.
So I did notice on the video Speed of Light, you did sound kind of younger. Sounds good. It's a good song. So now you said 3 years. The band has been together how long?
Since fifth grade.
So
fifth grade.
2015. Yeah, long time.
Whoa. Now, were you guys all at Edgewood School then?
Yes. We were.
So that's where you met, even though you're all at different high schools now. And how did you start getting a band together? How'd that happen?
So I forgot who actually had the first idea, but I remember we talked about it to each other. We thought, hey, why not play some music together? And then we got a little bit more people. We just started playing together. Yeah. The members switched in and out. We have what we have today.
Originally, there was about, I think, 7 or 8 people in the band, and they're not here anymore, obviously, but we had a lot of different instruments: saxophone, cello, clarinet. It was weird. And
now you're kind of stripped down to the basic rock trio, right? You got bass, drum, and guitar. Yes. And Jack, you play guitar. You play drums.
Yes,
Nolan plays bass. And Ben, you play cello and guitar?
Cello, piano, and guitar. Mostly piano now.
You do a lot of different. Now, when you write, how do you go about writing your songs? Do you send each other's ideas over the phone at night or over email, or do you sit in a room together and play off each other, play licks, and try phrases of lyrics?
It depends. Yeah. We use this website called Noteflight where you can put in like a score or some sheet music, and we used to use that a lot. Now I've gotten better at piano, so I can write on the piano. Sometimes I'll just play a random chord and think that sounds good, and then I'll do something off of that.
Yeah, and we kind of record ourselves with our phones and, send videos of our ideas to each other, and then we can kind of, help each other build off those.
So tell me about beginning in 5th grade at Edgewood School, did you play at a school event or something, or did you just go to each other's houses after school and jam? How did that happen?
On the weekends, we would get together and play together on the weekends and try to write songs. And at the end of the year, we wrote a song and we played at Edgewood's Arts Night, which is like their talent show. And it was pretty fun. That was our first concert.
What was the song?
Thrown Out of the Sun. It's not on anything anymore because we took it down. But we wrote it in 5th grade, so it didn't sound very good.
All right. So you got the new album, and you also put together a pretty sophisticated video. Who has the video chops?
That's me. I edited it and recorded it.
And what do you use? What do you use for the editing and recording?
For the Speed of Light video, I used Adobe Premiere. I'm not sure what we're going to use next time. We're still experimenting. But we use my video camera, and then we just upload the shots onto my computer, and we mess around with it until we find something that we like.
How do you sync it with the audio track?
So for Speed of Light, we actually played the song out while Jack walked down the street lip syncing to it, and then we put that in the program and put the music in there, and then we synced it up from there.
And do you all live in Westville?
Yes.
So there's a real Westville feel to this video. Obviously, you're showing kind of Jack walking down Whaley Avenue in the village past the old Delaney's. Do you guys remember the old Delaney's?
Yeah.
Yes.
Does it ring a bell? He's walking by the vacant lot that used to be a very popular restaurant and bar called Delaney's, including how you might have played music there if it were still around and you got another year or two under your belt. So Harry, we're on Dateline New Haven talking to the Midnight Strangers, hot newish band in New Haven. Kids met in 5th grade. They're in high school now and still playing, have a new album out and a new video. Let's watch it, called Speed of Light. If you're not watching the show, but you're listening, you should know that the video starts with scenes with no audio, and then the music comes on. Is that like another minute, guys, or how long?
Yeah, about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Fight, so now you're going down. We are going too fast.
right. That's The Speed of Light by the Midnight Strangers. If you haven't heard of them yet, you're going to be hearing a lot more about them in coming years. They're a Westville-born band. They're still in high school, and they're here on Dateline New Haven, 103.5 FM, live streamed at newhavenindependent.org. So, guys, how did you get the idea for how to shoot the video, to have just one of you, Jack, walking around Westville? I love watching the scenes, kind of the yarn-bombed bicycle, the Strange Way store, West Rock, the bridge that goes over the water. What made you want to do the video that way?
It was honestly just a lot of talking about it with each other, because there's a lot of different music videos that we could have done, but we just decided, since it's summer, it'd be kind of nice to do one in Westville. And we just discussed the different shots we wanted to do, and then we went down there one day and just filmed it.
And so what do you guys listen to? What are your main influences? You don't listen to the Go-Go's, do you? I kind of felt like I heard a little Go-Go's in there.
I listen to a little bit, nothing in particular.
But what's your favorite bands to listen to, artists?
I like the Beatles and the Beach Boys a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also like the Beatles, and I also like Green Day a lot.
Uh-huh. That makes sense. Did you go see the Green Day musical at the Schubert?
I did not.
Okay. So you guys are kind of baby boomers. Green Day's a little later. Do you listen to anything new, Lizzo, anything like that?
Yeah, my taste in music is kind of diverse. I listen to a lot of weird stuff. So yeah, I do listen to some modern stuff.
So what kind of stuff do you listen to, Nolan?
I like some modern rock, some hip hop, some like weird indie stuff. It's a lot of different things.
So what are you listening to now? Like what's on your phone?
Probably, it's called lo-fi. It's like a weird hip hop jazz mix kind of thing. It's nice to relax to, like listening to that.
Staying together, even if you weren't young, for 4 years is a long time. You started 5th grade, you're 9th grade, you go to different schools. What's kept you guys together?
I think our love of music really helped, because we all love playing our instruments and we like making music. Mm-hmm. And we've had a lot of good song ideas over the years. We have probably hundreds of songs that we've written, some of them bad, some of them good, and we've only kept a few.
Okay, that's a good thing to pick from the thing. So let me ask you what it's like going to school now. I take it all three of you are going to school every day at home, right? And Ben, you go to Hopkins, right?
Yeah.
And Nolan, you go to Co-op High, and Jack, you go to Hill House.
Yep.
So I want to ask you how it's same or different in terms of how many hours a day you're going to school still and what your workload's like. Are you doing as much class as you were before? Do you have as much homework as you did before? What do you feel is happening to your freshman year from here on in?
So like they cut down the amount of classes you have per week. So now there's only 3 or 4 hours of like looking at a screen. But there's all the homework's online now, and it's a lot more homework.
And you're at Hopkins. Did that start the day schools closed? Did you right away have classes online and homework assignments?
Well, there was a week where we only had classes 2 days per week, but then now it's just a normal schedule.
So how are you feeling about the year? Do you like it better or worse? How do you feel about the fact that your last few months of freshman year are happening virtually?
I'm just glad I'm not a senior, but it kind of stinks because I won't get to do my play probably within the school year, and won't get to see my senior friends graduate.
And what how much work do you get, Jack? How many hours a day you do in school?
I think for me it's a lot less than regular school. I only have 2 or 3 hours a day.
And you have classes online, like live on Zoom?
Occasionally. I think not as much as Ben. I only have 1 or 2 classes.
What do you do the rest of the day?
The rest of the day, they assign us work on Google Classroom, and so we either have to write an essay on Google Docs, or we answer questions on Google Docs, and we turn it in through Google Classroom.
Now, one thing is when you're home alone, at least what I've found, is you get a lot more done if you're focused, right? If you're sitting around with no distractions, you can do in an hour what you sometimes can do in 3. But on the other hand, it's hard to get focused, and you're not around other people to kind of enjoy their company or get ideas from them and collaborate. mean, Nolan, that must be especially interesting for you because you go to co-op, which is an arts and humanities school.
Yeah.
I would imagine that more so than in other schools, you're doing stuff that you need to be in person for, right? Or is that?
Yeah, definitely. Because for like art class specifically, we have say that again.
So how's it been working for you? What's your day like at school?
I mean, so I usually get up and start my work right when I get up, so I have it done by the end of the day. It's definitely about the same amount of work, probably a little less. It's hard not being there because being able to interact with your teachers, especially in like art classes, that's really helpful. And not being able to do that at home when you're, painting and all that sort of thing.
All right. So tell me more about next plans for the Midnight Strangers. What are you going to do next in terms of the band? You hoping to keep this thing going through high school?
Definitely.
So what's the next step? What are you going to do with this album? What are you going to do performance-wise when we get out of this pandemic? You working on new material?
Yeah, we're working on a lot of new material for our next album. We have about 13 songs already. That's good.
Have you started recording?
We can't really start recording until we all get together.
Yeah.
And you guys can't. Have you guys been able to get together, or you can't because of COVID?
We haven't been able to gather in like each other's houses and play together. We can, use Zoom meetings like this one to kind of play together online, but it's not the same.
So Zoom is not the same online. I guess you have a delay and everything, right?
Yeah.
But have you been jamming online with Zoom or no?
A couple times. It's hard though.
Yeah. What is there any new direction you're going with the new songs? Are the new songs about anything in particular? Are you using different instrumentation?
Yeah, there's a lot of different instrumentation. So I recently there's a lot of like synthetic instruments you can use, but when they're blended in with the real instruments, they sound a lot better. So we're gonna use more of those.
What would be an example?
So the maybe bassoon. I use a bassoon in one of the songs, and it's like it's hard to hear, but we don't have a bassoon, but you can program notes into the bassoon part.
I always wondered about that when you program a note. You know how like when you're playing notes, you can play them differently every time. You might make the notes stutter. You might not go exactly the beat. You kind of vary how loud or soft you're playing each note. I noticed that a lot with your bass playing, Nolan. What happens when you do that synthetically, Ben? Do you lose some control when you're having a synthetic bassoon play the notes you're putting in?
Yeah. So I usually try to keep the parts simple and not make them very prominent in the mix. Usually they're a background noise.
All right. So I want to thank you guys for making time. I think you should get credit for this in class, by the way. Tell your teachers that we said at the New Haven Independent, WNHH-FM, you guys have been working hard. You've been making great music. And I wish you luck with the band. I think we're going to be hearing a lot from you. So Harry Jost, before we go out, I was wondering if you could cue up another video from 2018 called Empty Cans. But before we play it, I wanted to ask you, does Ben play the keyboards on these? Because I noticed keyboards were kind of prominent on this one.
Yeah, I do.
And tell me about this song and why you chose this one for the video.
Is this a lyric video?
Empty Cans, yeah.
Yeah. So this was one of the first songs I wrote. It's pretty simple, but it's just power chords, and then it goes over a different bass note. So the chord sounds different, but it's the same. The right hand stays the same.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, anyway, you guys are great. You're a great band. I'm looking forward to hearing what you could come through next. Hope you come back when you got new stuff recorded. You got 13 songs ready to go once COVID lets you into each other's houses. I want to thank Harry Jost, our station manager, for being at the controls today. And we're going to take it out here at WNHH-FM with the video of Empty Cans.
All right.